Welcome to Liz's 10-minute book review. Wow, 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 wow. We're reviewing The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, or Poston, I'm not really sure. Poston? So, initial thoughts, I thought The 7-Year Slip was going to be more about the 7-year itch. Not true. It's actually about slipping 7 years back in time. Because of a magical apartment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, okay, let's get into it. The main character, Clementine, also aka Lemon, aka niece of the coolest aunt in the world, her aunt passes away. Her and her aunt are very close. They travel the world together. Her aunt wills her New York City apartment when she passes.
Cool.
We find out that she dies from suicide. They really don't touch on it much. She didn't even know. It was a little strange how she died, but they didn't really talk about it.
Some families are like that. As you hear about uncles who die cleaning their gun and stuff, you know?
That's fair, but I don't know. I felt like that was a missed opportunity in the book. They could have really explored
Sure.
the mental
grief.
health. Yeah, the grief, the mental health. Because the main character is grieving. She does miss her aunt. It is very sad. But
They don't really touch on it much.
they don't touch on the death part much. Or how she died much. But when she was little, her aunt tells her about the apartment. She's like, this apartment is magical. Just you wait. And Clementine's a little girl, so she's like, a magical apartment, what? You know? And she tells her, about this woman named Vera, who she falls in love with, and how Vera and her couldn't work out because they were 7 years apart.
That's not a big age gap.
7 years in the past.
Oh.
So she walked in the apartment, and she's no longer in her apartment of today. She's in Vera's apartment 7 years ago. Vera's just sitting at the window, and she's like, oh, it's happening again, isn't it? So they fall in love with each other. Vera wants kids, the aunt doesn't, and they just kind of decide, nah, but they do keep in touch through the years occasionally. Vera does have kids, her aunt meets them, it's whatever. Anyways, Clementine moves into the apartment, and it happens. She opens the door, and she's 7 years in the past. And there's a man in her apartment.
Is he hot?
Yeah, he is. Crooked smile, beautiful curls and all. And he, I don't know, he likes her, she's cute, whatever. And at first she's like, get the fuck out of my apartment. And he's like, oh, my mom's friend said I could stay here for the summer. Here's the note. It says that, you might have come by. I'm sorry. I can get out of here. So she's like, oh, whatever. Get out. He comes back and he's like, sorry, I forgot my toothbrush. And she's like, you know what, you can just stay. It's fine. Because, she realizes, oh, this is a gift from the apartment.
Classic move. Gotta leave something so you have an excuse to go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's totally a dude move. They have a beautiful dinner together. They are really flirty. She leaves. After spending, the whole weekend with him, they made out, but they didn't sleep together. They slept in the same bed.
Ooh.
But they didn't, undo the nasty. She goes to work back in, her time. Because when she walks out of the apartment's front door, she's back in the present. And she doesn't see him for weeks. Weeks and weeks go by, and she's kind of sad about it. She's like, man, why don't the apartment give him back? Oh, his name is Iwan. Iwan? I-W-A-N. Iwan. That's actually his middle name. We find out that his first name is James. And that's important because she's a book publisher, and both of her best friends work at the same place in their team. And the main editor is really good at convincing people who aren't authors to write books, including this very famous chef who had a Michelin star, who lives in Manhattan, and he's young and sexy, and he writes super well. Who could it be but James? And she's like, oh, fuck, because for her, she just saw James a few weeks ago. For him, he saw her 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Didn't even get to bang her, and now he's he forgot about her probably, huh?
Hold on. So, that's not true. Otherwise, there'd be no story. But, you know, I think she gets to go back to the past like 2 or 3 more times. And they do end up sleeping together. And, like, he says a bunch of shit that she remembers. And then, like, he is in the future and he's a little different. He's, like, a little too pristine, a little too, like, media trained. You know, he has a crooked smile, or he used to have a crooked smile and now he smiles straight. Except for when he's actually smiling, then it's crooked. You know? It's little details like that. We find out that, she gets a letter from Vera because Vera thinks that her aunt's still alive and lives there. So she shows up at Vera's apartment and she's like, hey, this is Clementine. I gotta talk to you. Right. She goes up there, they cry together because she has to tell Vera her aunt's dead. She's like, I loved her, you know, and I heard so much about you. And she's looking at the family pictures, and who's in the pictures? James Ewan is Vera's son. So anyways, that's how they all like get connected.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of weird, right? Like Vera, the aunt, and Clementine all lived in this one apartment. New York, am I right? Anyways, it ends with like them getting together, and like 7 years don't matter. It was just that the aunt was like afraid of commitment and like not living life like the best she could.
Right, yeah.
I did really like the aunt character though. I wish they did talk about her more. We were only ever heard her from Clementine's perspective and when she would like criticize or talk about something she really liked about her aunt. It was a cute book. I'll give you guys a quote. I loved how she spent every moment making a memory, every second living wide and full. And I hated that she never thought, not even entertained the idea that she would have another chance, another dance in the rain. And then this is another quote I liked. You can plan everything in your life and you'll still be taken by surprise. And that feels like very AA-esque to me, like very 12-stepper, because they say like, make a plan and God will laugh at you. It's like, show God your plans and he'll point and laugh because that's so nice. I felt like it was a really cute story. I liked it. I wouldn't read it again, but I would read something else from this author to see if I would like that. So that leads me to a 3.5 star rating. Yeah, Aunt was the best character. That's all I got. That's all I got on the 7 Years Sleep. It didn't wow me. Did not wow me.
Oh no.
I also thought it was going to be about the 7 Year Itch, so because I hardly read the backs before reading a book because I want to be entertained and surprised. Yeah. But I feel like I get that it's 7 years in the past and you slip into the past, but it's so close to the 7 Year Itch that, and like...
You wanted it to be a little saucier.
Oh, well, do you know what the 7 Year Itch is?
Yeah, it's where like you've been married 7 years and now you want to leave or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta go fuck somebody else.
Some strange.
Yeah, get some strange wiener. You know.
Yeah, I always want to get strange wiener. Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't wow me. I would read something else from her because she is a beautiful writer. The way she described things, some of the quotes in the book are just gorgeous. Beautiful author, but I just didn't love the story.
Good enough.
Yeah. All right. And thanks for joining, Liz. That's me for this 10-minute review. Wow, 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 wow.